Hello and welcome. In this video, this is going to be a buy low, sell high, and using ticker symbol NLC2. I'm going to be doing so upon the intermediate term and the short term time frame. It's a two-part video. And amongst the intermediate term, I'm going to be using strategy for my best video series that's located in the more information box, and I'll be staying in accumulation mode. What I'll be doing is selling 10% of the ownership upon this tutorial with a ratio of 10 to 15 on the two sell orders. So therefore, 10% on the first one and then 15% for the one thereafter that. I'll be using this first part to be doing what I've done many times in the past within these series where I'll place lines for where I buy and where I sell. And I will be doing it from that point on. Now, the short term, what I'm going to do here, and this is all mathematical. There is no debates on here for where buys and sells are going to come in. This is where from buys, I'm going to place sells starting at a price point of price divided by 10 as far as higher. So therefore, if I buy at, say, 1,000, I take 1,000 divided by 10, that's 100. So 100 points from where that is, 1,100 is where the first sell order would come. And thereafter that, I would sell every price divided by 100 plus 1 basis points. So in a case at 1,000, I would do 1,000 divided by 100, that would be 10. And then I'm going to add 1 every 11 points, so 1,011. 1,023, and every time it crosses a 100 number, that means, of course, the price would go. You'd be doing every 2 extra or 1 additional basis points more, and then the same thing, less 1 when it goes down. Selling the quantity of 0.5% of the ownership. So in this example, I'll start off with say 100,000, and amongst that, I will be selling. On this one, 10,000 for intermediate term sells and 500 for short term sells. And I'm going to be using the same principle of never lowering amounts to sell. So therefore, if I'm starting off with 500, it's going to stay at that until 5% is greater than the 500 on buys. Buybacks will be done on price divided by 10 basis points. So therefore, if I say sell at 1,000, then I'm going to take that divided by 10, that's 100. I'm not going to buy back till 900. And example, example 320 would require you to start selling at 352 because we would take 10% of that, that's 32. So that's why we do it at 352. And then the differential here is 3 pointed, but we're going to round the number down, always round it down. So 3 points plus the 1 every 4 points. 356, 360, 364, and so on and so forth. If you're selling at 364, the buyback is 328. Because we take 36 points off of such, and in doing so, that would get us a total of 328. That still leaves one thing that it wasn't covered in that screen, and that would be that of the new buyback, new buy strategy. For markets go down, and it's going to go down from here. This is 9:59 on June 22nd, 2018, on the single hour time frame. So therefore, every time it goes down, price divided by 25 from your last buy, and you don't have new buyers in already from previous sells or buybacks, that would be, then every time it goes down such, so on 1,000 points, you needed to go down 25 points. In this example, if we take 959 and divide it by 25, then we we would get 38.36. So 38 points. I can even round it up for you talking buys. I'll round it up when I'm talking buys, round it down for sells. So I'll go 39 lower. So 40 from that is 919. I'd have a buy order in at 920. And I would buy again 2% of what I own. So if I own 100,000 to start, then I would be putting a buy order to buy 2,000 at that price point. So I'm not going to go over any of those numbers until after this video is done. I'll go back again to this area here, and I will. It's going to take some time. Part 2 might be another day out. This is going to take some time, but I'm very, very curious. If I had data for this, I'd probably use a spreadsheet because of how many periods this is going to be from June 22nd to today. But I don't know how to download data for this. And this is the hourly time frame, which I really, really need to use it to see how well this short-term strategy would work. But for now, we're looking at intermediate term. So this is where I'm going to be putting buy orders and sell orders for larger amounts. The small short term, we have sell orders at 500 and a buy order at 2,000 ready to go. But for longer term, selling 10%, that's 10,000 sell orders somewhere up here. And we can see here that, well, you can't see much. This is where it starts from. That I don't want to sell for any less than 20% from buy. That is the absolute minimum. And don't even expect me to go that low. 25% would probably be the lowest. If I can get 30 to 40, 50%, I'll take that instead if I think I can get it. But always going to be looking to sell for about 25, 30%. And the equivalency amongst the buyback. So if I'm buying at 959, and I want to know what 25% on that is, I would get pretty much a hair under 1,200. So about 1198.75. What I can do is put in a horizontal ray at that level. And then I could edit it. And we'll say 1197. You can't see it because it's above it. As far as where I'd want to have a buy order. Now there'd be another one above that. I know what's going to happen. It's not going to hit. But I'd probably put the next order at about, say, 1,800 to maybe even 1,900. About 1,800, I'd probably put the next one in after that. And for where do we buy again? Well, 956 or 959 is where you started off. 20% decline, we're looking at about 200 basis points. So that'd be about 751. Even go lower than that, probably 701. And go from there. So what happens here is a move to 1163. Now, all of these shorter term sellers, there's going to be a lot of trades here. A whole bunch of them. And in situations where, say, for example, you're selling every so many points, if it comes way back down, you basically get the price that you normally would get. But again, that's just a small intricacy of trying to find the exact way, if you're trying to write a program code, on how a computer would handle the situation when it buys and then just comes back fast. You could put a sell order below that, but by doing so, you're doing at about like 20%. We would have action going on in here where not much was going on, and here it happened again. If you put it below, you see you could have sold here and bought back here. Now what's going to end up happening here is when I do this short term, all sell orders in here, and then we're going to start to be buying those back. The sell orders would then fill up again amongst this point here. But here we have this. Now this one, it closes at 1196. You're one Satoshi off. Especially even if this is like 1187, 1172, but even more so now. I guess you could wait Maybe take the offer now. But for this example, we'll say sell at 1197. Or 96 rather. Now, as far as where you want to buy it back, been down here. I want to get the best play as possible. I would like to buy under the 1,000 number because buying back at 1,000 is only waiting for like a 20% decline. I like a little bit better than that. And since I know that the market doesn't get above this, I'm not going to put a sell order in. But I would probably, if I was at 1,200, 20% is 240, which brings you to 1440. So at minimum 1495, 1595, somewhere around there is where I would go. Probably 1595 or 1649 would be the ballpark area for my next sell order, but that's not going to hit. Market goes back down in here. Interesting volatility within such. Again, amazing intraday volatility. And it hits a buy right there at 950. So therefore, look to sell it. Pretty much do what we did before. Now, one thing we could go is possibly at around 1169, which would be a little over 200 basis points. That's 219 basis points. That's still noticeably more than 20%. Get a little bit better of a chance. Now, the last buy-in we had was for 701, and from 950, that would be fine. So we'll just keep on moving the market until it hits either one of these twos. But these types of moves in here, this is exactly why I want to see how that short-term strategy is going to work. Now, did this hit or not? 701 was the number I got, and the low is 701, so I'm going to count that because that order was in a long time ago. So you'd have to think that you'd have good order priority. I put in a buy order in around 530, and I want to sell it at least at around that 950 spot where I did before. Probably would go up to 974. I'd have a higher sell order probably at around 1795. And quickly go through, see that a bunch of these trades didn't hit, but it's going to work good on the short-term trading when we see some of these moves like we do. Selling up here, buying down here. At least I would be expecting at 533, there we go, this was a hit. Or 536 rather. For my new buy order, I'm going to go a little over 400, 401. But for this, I have to sell close to 700, I think, for a good percentile gain. So I'm going to go in the realm of 690 and see how it goes from there. Now that I got some more data, we'll go like this. I mean, this is the type of movements that can just work out so well. There's a 401 buy. And we'll just go back to here. You'd be at 441 at the time. We'll put a new buy order in at 301, which is a differential of 100 basis points. And that's like 25% down, equivalency to like 30 plus percent up. So therefore, buying at 400, at least 500, because that's 25%. I think we could even work a little higher in this previous area of congestion area, so we'll go 529. Notice how you missed this, but all those small short-term sells and buys are going to come in, or buys then sells are going to come in. And 301 is near, but it doesn't hit in that last spot. But we did, okay, now where would my upper sell order be if it was 529? If I had bought in at 4, sold at 529, I would probably be looking for about like 799. Makes sense to me. So I'm going to count that. So therefore, what I want to do now is, at the end of this hour, which should be 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I wouldn't want to buy at 659. So I know it's going to go down all the way there, but where would I realistically be looking to buy? Now, the one disadvantage I have here that you have in real life is you can look at the order book. You can see where big buy blocks happen to be and adjust it based on that. But let's just go in here. I probably think, I mean, you could think this is usually conservative, 550, because 500 is conservative in here. So 555 is one of them. And let's now move this order in that was at 300. And where do we go from here? Let's think further. With selling at 729 and 595, I wouldn't mind this being even below 529 for that matter. So somewhere like 502, which can allocate me to be buying the next one, say, down in here. I'll go for a big buy here instead of splitting it up into 3 shares, which I've also talked about before. In this case, I'm going to talk about buying that big one back at 5. That would be a really big buyback. And then another one, even a little bit deeper than that, 365. So we can see here that I would be hitting that buy at 502. I'd need to put a sell order in. 650 works out to 25%, so that's the minimum I want to go. And I mean, I could. This is where I'd want to shorten out to the 5. I'm not going to do it here. I don't think I can for this far back. But I have to think I could at least get into this 690, close to 700 number. And my buy border orders don't need to put new ones in. I'm still looking to get that first buy back in at 365. And it comes close on many occasions. Now, in real life here, I would just take it. I mean, it's so close. It's too close. Okay, so then buying at 392. Well, 10% is 40, 20% is 80. 100 works out to 20%, so at least 500 minimum. And I would have to, I mean, it's an interesting situation because exactly the minimum takes you to this area here. And if it's going to break it, you think it's going to go pretty good. So I'd probably go for a nice sell. Maybe around 5, 8, even nicely below 6, just in case, because that's good as it is. I was even thinking 560ish or so as well as a possibility. And then for a new buy order, well, for buying at 392, if I go to 3, that's a differential of 92 down, a little over 20%. I'll go for a bit better than that even. Let's go high 200s, like 280. That's a good number. So 280 or 580, I do nothing until it hits one of those points. And we'd move into August, the end of August. We're now into September. I mean, a lot of short-term trading is going to be done in here. This is going to be a lot of fun work. And when I say a lot, I mean that. When I say fun, I don't mean that. But the results coming in should be fun. Okay, does this hit? We have 280 in here. The low is 280. It most certainly does. Place a new buy order in at 202. So at 280, we're looking at about 75 points, so 355 minimum. And I'm just going to scroll some more periods in. Well, maybe into this little area here, maybe 379. And looks like this is a hit here at 201. Yes, it is. Oh, no, yeah, 201. I got 202. It's a hit. Put a new buy order in at 141. So 250 is the minimum level. From here, I just placed this line already down at 2. And this looks like the general area. After buying at 200, that's a differential of over 60 points. It's close to 30%. Move the market. And here we go again. Now, I know it goes up from here, but where would you... And I would have had an upper sell orders, and it's not going to hit, of course, because you're going to readjust your orders at this point. Selling at 265, maybe you had an upper sell order near 395 or something, but it's going to be lower now because we want to do at least 25% from this point figure. So therefore, if we look at 10%, we're looking a little over 25. That's 80 points. So 345. Maybe you decide, I'm not going to put a line in, but we'll go on 349. Where do we buy this back at? Well, for where we came from, it's been in a bear market. There's nothing wrong with taking new lows, lower lows, if you wish, or lower lows, or matching lows. I think it's between the two of them. I don't think I'd want to buy in this congestion area here. So I'm going to put my buy order at around 203 and go 349. And I know it's probably going to hit here. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, well, we'll continue on going. And that's where if it was a little lower, you would have been able to hit and get your buy back. We'll keep it at that 349. I know there's no line in there. Okay. No way your upper's hitting. I can't say that. What's 350 to 500? That's 150. That makes total sense. It would hit. If you had a seller at 349, and I should be saying what they are, but what makes the most sense on that? Because we're looking for 25% plays-ish, 30% on normal moves. What's the differential from 350 to 500? That's 150 basis points, which is well over 40%, which is where the general area on normal volatility. So I can go 349 and 495. And just like before, I'm going to want to buy below the first place I sold, which was 349. I got this previous level here. So let's just do like maybe a 321. We already got a buy order in at 200, so somewhere in the middle. Maybe around in this little area here, around 267-ish area to me seems like a reasonable spot. Okay, I pushed the button, but the line didn't come in. Now I know it did. Let's say 270 and 321, even a little lower than that. At 263. And my next sell order, after selling 495, we got extreme volatility. Now I know this one doesn't hit either, but where I would go well, first of all, 25% would be like 150, which would bring it to 650. Even 699, I'd probably go about 720 to 750 area. But again, I know it doesn't hit. This buy comes in at 321. So therefore, 400 to me is the minimum spot, and I'm going to go higher than that. I'd probably go, because the volatility again, maybe 428 or 427 would work. And then see that I get a buy fill here. And I guess I can move this up for what the upper order would be for now. But after buying at 263, we're looking at about 65 or so basis points to reach the 25% number. So that would be about 3.25 minimum. And therefore, let's maybe work towards this congestion area, this previous level of support at, say, even 339. I'd probably be more in line for. 338 will go. And get close to and now hit the 203 bottom or buy order. That is a buyback too, because this buyback or this order now has just been bought back. And after a 200 buy, that's 250 minimum. So let's maybe go in at 262. I've already got a buy order in already near 141. So therefore, I'm just going to remove and get rid of this horizontal ray and wait for the market to decide it's close. And it hits. So I'll move a buy order into 102. 165 isn't necessarily where my sell order is going to be, because if I'm buying at 141, that would be too little. I just put the line there. 14 times 2 is 28. Half of that is 7. That's 35. So 176 represents 25%. It's got to be higher than that. And this area of congestion looks solid enough for me. And where my upper sell order would be, I should say these here and again. I would have to think about 269 probably, around that area. In case it happens here. I don't know if it does or not. This is just a regular sell at this point. And I think 141 area would be a solid spot to we'll go 42 to place a buy order. The differential is 42 points, which works out to about a 23-24% decline. Where do we sell next? Well, 186 was the last spot. 25% on this is like 50 or so, so 236. And let's just go say 244. That sounds like a good, reasonable number, which hits. Ooh, it hit well here, but it's going to go up after that. And I know it does because we're in middle December now. And as far as buying this back, I think mid 180s is what I was thinking. Somewhere around in here. Good differential from here to here, back where it came from, and a solid place to for volatility gain of the sale because the sell comes in at 244. Now to put our next sell order in, 62, 63 points would represent 25%, which would take us to about 207 or 307 rather. So therefore, I think I got a line up here already. So just looking at this, maybe 319. Sounds good. And it would hit right here. As far as buying it back, want a nice little move from here. This little ballpark area around 231 to me seems like maybe a little higher than that. Maybe about 238. Good differential from this line to this line. And of course, a good pullback because after selling at 319, it's going back 20 plus 60. That's about a little over 80 points. So that's about 23%. That's pretty good. Maybe you want to go for a bit better. Well, let's go for a bit better. Let's go 231. Where would the next sell order be? Well, 25% on this. We go 30, 60, 75, even 80. So we're looking at about 400. So therefore, let's just do the 399 number. I'm not going to put a line in there. If it's even going to go there. I think it does, though. I think it even goes pierces above, but I can't remember. Yep, there's the pierce above it, so 399. I'd probably go 499 for my next sell order. Where do I buy this one back at? When you have a bunch of up moves, you can technically afford to go for good pullbacks, but in here, if I'm doing, say, 282, that's a differential of over 100 points. That's like 25-30% decline. To me, I think this is a good place. Now, of course, I know it buys it back because I know what the market does from here. And 499, I don't think does hit. I don't think it comes close. I believe the top was near there. So then, only thing I'd be trading is the 5-minute time for the short-term movement, and that's going to be interesting. I really would like the. It might take a couple or 3 days for me to do that. It really may. Anyway, this one here, 282 buy. And I think 360 would be the minimum I'd want to sell this at, which would represent a lower high. And I think around here, if I was going to sell around here, I kind of want to go 349. So I kind of, for now, would rather put an order up, say, around in here, even a little bit higher, 371, noticeably above here, well noticeably below here. But I don't want to do down here. And I still got other buy orders raring to go. And there we go. So another one gets hit at 231. So therefore, minimum like 300 because 23, which is 10% times that by 2, 46, really 47. Half of that of 23 is like 12. That brings up to 60. So 25% would be around 300. I'll take it. So therefore, we'll put a sell order, say, at 298. And then if there was another one, I'd probably be going 429 or so. But I think this buy order hits here at 187. It does. It even goes further lower. So 25% would be around 235-ish or so. I want to go higher than that. I can go up to here. And I think I'm going to go up towards this high, say 259. as a place, and I can just delete this line here. Oh, I hit it right here. 259. I could have got higher. So be it. That's how it goes. Now, last time the buy was 187. I think we should go low. I would go like probably 181. It really doesn't make a difference if you go 80, I don't think. Selling last at 259. Well, what's 60, 70 points? Over 60 points, so 320. 330, I would say, is the minimum number that I would be comfortable putting my next sell order on. When looking at some of this previous price action, I got a line ready to go here, so let me just move this to where I want in the 330 area. Probably 325, that would be a differential of 40 plus 20, 65. Good enough. I think it even goes higher than that too, but I mean, you're just going to go, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. If you did, you know to sell when we get back to 400. Okay, well there's 325. And as far as buying it back, that would be a differential of 65 basis points. I think go a little bit deeper than that maybe. 228. As far as your next sell, well, selling at 325, 32 times 2 is 64, even 65, half of that again on 32, 16, that's over 80 basis points on 325, so a hair over 400. I don't know if it goes there, but I think 409, 415. I'm not going to put a line in, but 414 is where I would go. I don't think it does go there, though. Maybe it did. Did this high go to 414? It did. It did. So we'll put a sell order there. And if you're selling 414, and I got 228, 300, you can go a little bit lower, maybe like to this little area here. Maybe 285. I know it's not going to hit, but if I'm selling 414, I probably want to go maybe 529, 5 to 549 as my next one, but there's going to be a buy here. 70 points from here would represent 25%, so that'd be 355. Let's see whereabouts can we go in that area here. Maybe 359. Because that's the lower high to here. It's over that 25% number. We're also got the 228 buy we're waiting for. There we go. There's the sell order fill. And I think buy back at previous low would make the most sense. And then your next sell order after about 360, about well over 90 points. So at least 355 or 455. So I'd probably go like, and that's a decent break above here. I'd probably go about 479, 474 to 479 seems like the right number I would go. I know it doesn't go there again, but that would be where it would go. There's a buy fill at 287, which means selling around the 360s. And I don't know how much we're going to trade. We're only 5 days away from where I'm doing this video from. I'll probably go about 359. I might go here in the last few days. I don't think it did though. And I know it doesn't. I don't think it breaks down to this current low. Yeah, nothing's going on. We're done. So that's where we would stand. You'd be still waiting to sell at 359. You have a buy order waiting at 228. And other than that short-term trading, which is a lot in itself, at least compared to this, you'd be doing nothing. So that's the end of part one. And not counting the original buy, the trades were starting to sell at 1196. And then all of these down in here. What I'm going to do for the next video is I'm going to go through the short term again. I'll put this into a spreadsheet. And then I'll see exactly how well this does. Because if we're looking at a market right now that's currently at 276 Satoshi. And when we started this, it was 959. That means it's down about 3.5 times since then. how much would your portfolio be down? Would you be down? And if so, by how much? We'll find out. That will be the next part. But I would predict, what day is it today? Today's Monday? At least Wednesday. I don't think I'll have it ready on Tuesday. It's a lot of work, but I'm very interested to see mathematically, with all those moves that I've shown, how the short term plays are going to work out. Bye bye.